Okay, we need to push this.
I'll take a look, but I think it's right.
Oh. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, today is Monday, October 5th, or 2020, Administrative Services Committee. Present Bob Gibbley, Bill Freeman, Jim Wetling. By Zoom, we take James Horstman and Danielle Allen. Oh, I see it. Okay.
And Jim's up there too?
Jim's there too. All right. Also present, Bob Sonnegrath, Steve Duffy, Paul. Duffy from Treasurer's Office, Kathy Myers, and John Nicholson, and Becky Brenner. So is there anyone that needs to go first this morning? I'm glad Jim Watling's here. I've been saving this one for him. I found it that we didn't get to last summer. So that I hope Jim prays everyone time he goes fishing. I've got to grant him this serenity to accept the size of the fish he fishes, the courage not to fib about it, and the wisdom to know that no one's going to believe him anyway.
Thank you. And that's the truth.
There are a couple of people that are on that I just have numbers for.
Okay. I see Wendy's name, and we have a couple other people that.
This right here, 288-3024. (288-3024). Is that Wendy? Let me try it. Hello? 288-3024. Right? Yeah.
Let's know. Okay, yeah.
Or 440-3477. Does anybody know Jim Horstman's number?
I bet.
Oh, I can.
Okay, we're thinking it must be one must be Jim Horstman, so Becky's going to double check it.
3477 is Jim.
Okay, so Jim Horstman, good. Okay, first claims then are from the, minutes from the last month, they're okay. And I did have one announcement. Put it right here. We had a thank you note. I really think this came more from finance than it did from administrative services, but since tourism comes through this committee, the Lee County Board Detention Administrative Services Committee. Lee County Tourism Council and staff would like to express our appreciation to you, the Administrative Services Committee, for temporarily rescinding the county's administration fee of the hotel motel tax and allowing it to be dispersed to us in our monthly hotel motel tax collections check. Our county board liaison, Bill Palin, reported this decision at our September Board of Directors meeting. It came as a very welcome surprise. Although this might be considered a small amount to some, this is huge to us as we navigate the month-to-month financial uncertainty that so many tourism organizations and other businesses are facing. Please express our sincere appreciation to the other members of the committee. Well, you're hearing it now. Thank you all so much. Appreciatively, Diane Nicholson. And that's kind of their logo is appreciative and then Lee in that capital letters. So everybody wants to see it. Okay. And then the minutes, were they okay as presented last month?
Right.
Okay. Bill Palin said yes. Everybody else? Yes. Okay. Thank you. Stand approved, is it?
Jim.
Okay, so this is county clerk general fund. I turn the right direction.
Sauk Valley Media, $187. Sauk Valley Media again,
Is it the same amount?
That should have been probably paperclip.
that's same amount,
That probably goes with,
same amount.
is there a paperclip and envelope with it maybe?
There's a big-
Well, that's the big
There's
one,
a big one,
it'll be.
okay.
Okay.
Avid Service, $6,601.
And that's not a name I'm familiar with?
It's Fiddler.
Oh, is it?
The invoice, I mean, the claim is to Fiddler.
February, okay, thank you. Yep. That one we're very familiar.
Yeah,
You know, if we were closer, would it speed it up for somebody else to do the initialing and writing it?
Yeah.
Okay, so you call them off and I'll hand them over.
oh,
So get reading.
no, you can,
Yeah, the reading. Oh, yeah. Over sign.
Those are already signed.
yeah,
Okay.
reimbursement of supplies, $50.60. Supplies, $1,224.48.
I don't think we charge cars.
SBM, $634.98. That's it.
The total for the,
Total, $8,698.06.
869806.
That will go in the red one.
I can sign it too. Ready, Jim?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Iron Mountain, $97.34. Fiddler, $2,650.
And total is 2747.34.
2737.
2747.34.
And then treasurer. There are a few that are too fast and I don't know. You can read them outside later.
First one, paper recovery service, 138. Paul Meyer for supplies, here's the receipt, 116.65. Samantha Smith, mileage, 48.45. SBM supplies, 103.65. US Bank supplies. Receipts are there, 118. That's all I got.
Total, $524.75.
524.75, and you have tourism city.
There's an extra bill. Okay, Lee County
Lee
Tourism,
County, Okay,
$8,162.89. And the same amount for the city of Dixon, $8,162.89.
total $16,325.78.
$16,325.78.
Correct.
Oh, is that for the month of August?
Yes,
It was
yes.
that high.
Not a bad month.
Not a bad month, but you gotta figure too, O'Connell's, the campground, was a big, pusher on that. And then, Quality Inn had a big number, but remember in August, we had the Duratio or whatever where ComEd was staying. So you also had, so they stayed in August, they paid us by the end of September and now we're paying it back. So yes, that's the August number. So those two alone were probably your biggest pushers for that.
Okay, give me a sheet.
Right, we can start. Next up is
All right,
school. ROE.
you ready, Jimmy?
Yes, sir.
Okay, packet one, $364.19. Packet number two is $292.03. And packet number three for rent is $666.67.
Total of $1,322.89.
1,322.89.
Yes.
Okay, next up, county board.
Got it. Bill?
Yeah.
Okay, microphone batteries, $199.28.
They have been getting a workout, haven't they?
199.28.
Yes.
Okay, they're listed as two items here, so.
Well, there's two invoices. One of them came separately, so there were 7, I believe, that came on one and one on another, so the total is.
I have $24.91 and then a $174.37.
Yeah.
Okay,
I wrote down 197.28.
perfect. This is Addison, Denofalo, Hasselbag, and Castaldo. Don't know.
You did a great job.
I guess by the LTD that they're lawyers, but that's just a guess.
Is it the new
Yes,
negotiations?
it's, must be the, professional service, I see FOP here, so, $625. Sickage. Must be for the month of, September. $4,277.50.
Ouch. That's an accident.
Jump above $2,000 a little bit there. Sauk Valley Media, 1820. SBM, 146.62. US Bank batteries. Here's your receipt, $17.58.
Total, $5,284.18.
5,284.18.
Right.
What is, next up is assessment.
Okay, Sidwell, $1,857. Sharon Computer Consulting, $506. And Leaf, $225.53. US Bank, $53.88. Online order. Quill, $57.40. And Wendy Ryerson for travel and meeting, $48.88.
And that total is 2,748.69. 2748.69.
Next up is veterans.
Okay, Lee County Transportation Fund, $1,366.35. Lee County VAC, $346.02.
For rent.
Oliver's Corner Market, $97.69. And Lee County Transportation Fund, $233. And finally, Lee County VAC, $89.53.
Total, $2,132.59.
Next up is, CISIT.
Okay. Civic Plus, $160.
Total of $160.
Nothing from page forward. Any questions on claims?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. There are two over there, so that would be 6 to nothing. And papers going around for signature. Kathy. County clerk.
I have my job posted, to fill Lori's position. I'll let Paul probably talk more about the treasurer's office and handling the payroll. It was posted in the newspaper and it's on our website, and I'm just asking for the applications to be back by October 16th. We've been very busy, as you know, in the election department. We've got 4 additional part-time people on hand downstairs. We have had already by Friday evening, 1,250 people have come into the courthouse to vote in person, and we started on September 24th.
That's incredible.
So we've been very busy. So we have a couple of them working the counter. One has been working the hallway as we need it, for the crowd. And then we have one that's actually stationed right in the room where they're voting to assist. We've been getting a lot of emails from Power the Polls and Fair Election Center for poll workers. But what we are finding is they just want to be at the polls. So I don't want you to think that we're getting a lot of new judges from these emails, because we're not. So we're hoping to utilize some of them possibly as greeters to try to handle, the crowd as well in the polling locations on election day. So we are working with some of them, but not all.
Are some asking to be poll watchers? They don't really want to be poll watchers.
They're not, the verbiage in the ad that they're responding to from these emails is poll workers. So, there's a difference because
I
a poll
agree.
watcher needs to get credentials.
And that's what I was
and-
asking, and there's a limited number that you can
Correct.
have per
Correct.
precinct.
Yep.
So that's why I questioned.
So, and then I did contact All Safe Storage about a storage unit to store what equipment I have right now over in the old jail. A 10 by 10 unit will run $114 a month. So I am hoping after election is over that Deb and KJ and I can kind of go over and look at the equipment that's there, what we might be able to get rid of. If there are old metal booths that are no longer functioning, then we'll get rid of what we can so I can try to downsize what I'm needing to store. And then the last item I have is the hazard pay for the election judges. Do you want me to wait until new business to discuss that?
Do you guys care? We could just do it. Okay. I think we can just do it.
Okay,
That'll keep everything together.
I, in my election department, have a separate CARES grant for additional expenses that we're having to incur because of the COVID-19. So we had a grant workshop last week, and the State Board of Election is advising us that we can pay what they're calling hazard pay for our election judges who are willing to work on election day. I'm recommending somewhere in the range between 50 and 75. Naturally, it's up to you to decide what you feel is a good amount. I did contact Whiteside and Ogle, and they are both going to do 50. So this would be an additional $50 over and above their normal election judge pay. And then this would be reimbursable back to the county through the CARES grant.
Any comments?
Well worth it.
No,
I think it's gonna be a slow day.
I think it's gonna be a slower day with all early voting.
Yeah, well, you've had that many already.
I think it's something that, there's, could be anything positive about it, it would be to help them out a little bit. They're in the face of a lot of people all day long, hundreds.
that's true.
Kathy, how's your count on election judges?
We are right about maybe 130 right now.
Is that about where you should be?
We should really be about 147 to 150, so.
And if things keep spreading, you may get some that are gonna decide they want to back out.
Absolutely.
But,
Day of even.
right, the day, which is, that's why you need those extras, so. Okay, so can I have a motion on that?
So made
Okay, I'll second it then.
For what amount?
What's your
on a
motion?
$50, I'm
I'll
sorry.
second that 50.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I need to abstain.
What exactly is the motion to approve it, $50?
$50 has to
Hazard
pay
pay.
for election judges for the day of. You wanna say November?
Okay, and then is this something that you need me to take to the full board, or can it just come from this committee?
Well, I'm sure they're going to want to know about it because it's going to be through finance, just because they'll be going through the CARES, or does that come, your CARES reimbursement, does that still go through the county, or it's totally separate?
Totally separate.
Then,
I do have it on the finance agenda, so.
just as for information then? Okay, because since it's, it's one of those. But since we're all about transparency now,
Okay, I'll take it to the full board.
I think it goes through finance, just that it'll be a report. I don't know that it's not gonna need a full vote.
Okay,
Not about information.
Yeah.
Let them know what's going
Right.
on, because they don't have to.
I mean, since it's totally reimbursable and the state's saying do this. Okay, and I'm abstaining because it would apply to me as an election judge, so.
Inform them that it came out of committee.
And but definitely emphasizing that it's the reimbursable through the election CARES Act. Okay, anything else or questions for Kathy?
Kathy, have you received a lot of the mail-in ballots?
yes, we have, yep. A lot of people are actually also hand delivering them as well.
Okay.
But yes, we have received a lot of the mail-in ballots back already. So we mailed on Thursday, September 24th, and by Monday morning, I had a full tray full of returned ballots. So our Dixon Post Office has been phenomenal, so.
Well, that's great.
Okay. Yeah, so when you put those with, plus the 1250 that have really voted, and there was a line there this morning from when I came in. And in that same vein, kudos, and when you talk about phenomenal, KJ did an excellent job presenting, because there was a lot of extra material presented at the election training.
Yeah.
Yep. Went through it 6 times.
Yep.
So I hope that, we're all hoping, trusting that it's going to go well, and it should. And we have troubleshooters too, right, Tim?
Oh, 4 of them, I think. There's a 5. 4, I think.
Well, Jim, you can do the work too.
Stay away.
Paul, treasurer's report.
Okay, so you probably both all should have gotten 2 different memos from Paula late last week in regards to, one is a software conversion update, the other one would be an employee handbook update. I'm gonna go through the software update first. So we are on track to go into a new accounting software, Self-Connect, that'll start December 1st. We've created a new chart of accounts, which is based on the software, but it's very similar to the old, maybe some new accounts that will be created that were needed anyway. And we're updating or creating payroll codes and different benefit codes, deduction codes. And then we'll be pulling general ledger and employee and vendor history over. We're gonna try to pull at least 1 year, and I'm not sure if the second year will go through or not. Just based on their capacity to put it into our system. The Go Live training will be in the month of December, so it's gonna be one of those learn on the fly type of things. We did sit through a symposium in the month of September. It was a weeks-long symposium of their different art transaction types. So you had a general ledger, you had a payroll, you had an accounts payable type of thing. So it was informative, but we just, since it was all Zoom, we couldn't actually touch the keys and learn how to do things ourselves. But we saw the functionality. It's gonna be a very streamlined, very nice system. The December 1st payroll will be processed concurrently, the old system and the new system, so it's gonna be in parallel, just to make sure everything works. Starting December 1st, as Ken mentioned, the treasurer's office is gonna be taking over payroll. It's a good fit because we are responsible for IRS, we are responsible for Social Security, state of Illinois payroll information. We are the authorized agent for IRF. So it's in this memo that she sent, payroll's a natural fit. So we'll be doing that in the new system. I think Kathy's team will be doing it still in the old system, just to make sure that it processes through. And then one thing for payroll, what we're trying to do is get a better or accurate feel for the actual time worked and the pay input. So one of the things that we're asking is, starting January 1st, or the first pay period of January, we'll move the actual pay date from a Wednesday to a Friday. So we're moving it 2 days further out. Currently, everybody that has to turn in pay typically turns it in on a Wednesday, which leaves Wednesday, Thursday, Friday as estimated time, so that you make that, if you have to do any corrections, that's a whole 2 weeks later. So what we're trying to do is we'll say, we still have a whole week's worth of time to do the payroll, because we have to have the file into the bank at least 2 days before the actual pay date. So that's why they asked for it that early, because, you know, Kathy's team has to process that and get it ready so that the bank has the actual file by Monday morning, really, is when they want that. So, and usually they're typically done by a Friday late afternoon, or Friday morning. So we're gonna move that, just that pay date, from a Wednesday to a Friday. Nobody's gonna have to lose any time, it's all still gonna be there. It's just for that first paycheck, it's gonna be 16 days from the last day versus 14 days. But it's still the same pay, same time frames, things like that.
I can't imagine anyone at county board has a problem with that. Have you had any complaints from employees?
We haven't discussed that with anybody
Okay.
yet.
I just thought that it was,
I think
because it was out there for us.
I think it's more a motion that she wants you to do, you know, here at the last sentence. Please consider approving a motion to change the pay date from Wednesday to Friday. So really, once you guys are okay with it, approve that motion, I think we will then, since that first paycheck change wouldn't be until January, we give people plenty of time to understand, here's what's happening. I realize there could be some people who live paycheck to paycheck, so give yourself some time to be able to go through that.
And since it's all direct deposit now,
It is all.
anyway, it's not gonna make added lines at the banks because of
No,
it being
no,
Friday,
it
so
shouldn't,
it shouldn't make any difference,
No,
so.
it'll be there for you.
Any questions on that? Your motion?
I'll
from
move,
the beginning?
I'll move.
Mr. Palin, moved,
I'll second.
second,
I'll
all those in
second.
favor?
Aye.
Thank you, so 6-0.
Then the second item she had was, it's in regards to accruing, employee vacation time. She would like to update the handbook, and we can go through it here. Currently, all vacation time is given after the year is complete. So as a new employee, you have to work a full year before you're actually given then your vacation time. And what this really is gonna do is, instead of, you'd be accruing it through that first year. So you're not gonna get any more. This doesn't change any of the vacation times that are already set up in terms of who earns what, in terms of how many years of time you've worked for the county. It's just the accrual basis of how this is done. And if you think about that in terms of when we go through our audits every year, actually Whitley turns around and accrues back vacation time anyway, because really we're on a cash basis, we're not on an accrual basis when we talk about finances. But when you look at your vacation time owed, they always have to accrue back it anyway. So what this will do was it'll accrue as on a monthly basis as you earn it. And this new system will be able to track that as well. So what we're really looking for is that change. Now, we've gone through all of the contracts, and I think she's got copies of that in here. We're not changing those contracts. We're not looking to make that different. Now, if a contract were to change, obviously that's something we take into account, you just, you work through that, and you make that change appropriately, correct? So this would be as, somebody who's maybe worked 3 years and gets 2 weeks of vacation, instead of it all, and they started in January, instead of it all dumping into January, they accrue it throughout the year. So you might get 0.8 days a month or something like that. So that's what that second memo is about. And again, if you had any questions, I can try to answer them for you. I know Paula's not on the phone or on the Zoom call, but
It's just that this is making it automated and
yeah.
a little more flexibility for department heads that don't have to go back and hand check where the person is.
Correct, and hopefully, as everybody turns in all of their information on each employee, like a start date, anniversary date, we'll have that loaded in the new system, and that new system will automatically start. All we have to do is put in the variables as to what, how much per month to accrue, and it'll collect it, or it'll calculate it for you.
Okay, any questions on this?
Carry on.
Yeah, I had one. This is Jim. Won't this make a substantive change though for an employee who leaves within the first year? It sounds like under the current system, they wouldn't get any vacation pay because they haven't accrued any.
Correct.
But under the proposed system though, they would be accruing, and an employee left within the first year would end up walking away with some vacation pay, right?
Well, it kind of depends on how you want to look at it, because correct in that they would accrue it during the year, and if a department head, say, 6 months into a new hire, they took a day off for a vacation time, and we marked it as such, but then they left within the 9-month time period, in that last check, you could ask for that back. You could say, hey, you didn't, or in a sense, they've earned it, if you will, because if they left one day after the 1-year anniversary, they're owed that 1 week vacation, so you gotta pay that out for that one anyway. So basically what you're doing is, yes, I don't know if I can call that substantive in the sense that that would only affect new employees, and it would only be if they left within the first year. That's my take on it, Jim, but.
Okay, it probably isn't a frequent thing, but it would change that the county would have an obligation to pay vacation for employees that leave within the first year, whereas now they don't, I believe.
Kathy, I'm putting you on the spot, Kathy, but you're shaking your head, so we've not paid it or we have paid it?
No, we have not,
We have not paid it.
but technically,
But
as what
then,
Paul is saying, they will
Right.
start accruing it.
well, because federal law changed a few years ago that made a lot of those things a little bit different, so I kind of think if it were tested, that we would have to pay it anyway.
Yeah, I couldn't answer that from a legal standpoint as to what we owe them in terms of vacation. But, from an accruing standpoint, typically you also you're not gonna accrue anything during your probationary period anyway. And that could be anywhere from 90 days to 6 months as it is anyway.
Okay. Does that help, Jim?
Yeah, I don't think it's a huge thing. I just wanted to know that it's not just a bookkeeping change. In some circumstances, it is going to create an obligation on the county that wouldn't exist currently.
But if they're not accruing during that probationary period, that would
Typically.
lessen that
Yeah.
impact.
Yeah.
Yep.
And even
Yeah.
by then, you typically know if you've got an employee that's gonna stay or not within that first year, typically. So, I think you'd be hard pressed to find a lot of new hires that come and go within that first year. Specifically, if they're here maybe a month and they're like, nope, this isn't for me and I'm gone. And by then you didn't accrue anything anyway.
Any other questions?
I think Bob had.
Yeah.
About this?
Banking extra days.
yes.
That could be indefinitely, there's not a time period that they have to use that bank.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, well, what she's basically saying is right now we're on a use it or lose it, right? But the bank, there's a bank maximum, correct, right? But yeah, that basically, so if you were accruing 10 days a year for your vacation and you never used them, and you did that for through years 2 through 6, right? That's really 40 days that you never used. But in actuality, the maximum bank is 15, so if you never used any of it, you're still
You're
still
staying
gonna
going
use.
indefinitely.
Yeah, those 15 days will carry over for your time period as an employee, correct?
So then they can always use that whenever they left.
Yeah, well,
And get
those,
paid for, they'll get paid for those days at that current pay rate.
But only 50.
yeah, well, I mean, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's in a bank,
Yeah, because if they're earning it today at
yeah,
$10 a day
yeah.
and
20 years from now, they're getting
they're
$30
getting
a day.
$50 a day, that's the rate you have to pay for that day.
And in some respects, that's interest on their time, right?
Well,
I understand what you're saying, Bob.
Is there,
Go ahead.
is there a reason to change it from use it or lose it to allowing banking?
I think from a county standpoint, really the new system that we're going on, and if you look at most, companies, if you will, and I'll use my experience in private world, you have to accrue for vacation time for your employees anyway, whether they've used it or not, because if they leave, a lot of times if they push hard enough, they can say, hey, I earned so many days, you gotta pay me, right? This is just more of a tracking, and it does release the use it or lose it in the sense that we do have a maximum bank time. So that's all it's really doing.
Right, I mean, in the private world, you do accrue, and if you leave without using vacation time, you earn it out at the current salary that you're making. I'm just not sure why the software change, you're going to use it or lose it to allowing
Well,
banking
Yeah, and then.
time, which to the earlier point, you can be paid out later at a higher salary, and I just don't know why we would change that.
Well, the highway and the FOP contracts are already written that way as well.
Right, it's through a contract.
Yes. So, I mean, the change is, so there are some employees currently under that process right now. So the change would affect everybody now, not just those.
but again, they're only going to get, I'll say 15 days, not 40 days.
Yeah,
If they have.
yes.
So
Yeah,
in one sense, the use it or lose it is still, it is still there.
there is a use it or lose it substance to this, because if you never use your vacation, you can only bank so many days, and then you can't accrue anymore. So, and the accrual side of that would be just the current year. And then, again, if you didn't use it, well, you can't throw that into the bank, so that's just gone. It's just a lost value for the employee, if you will. I mean, if you think of it this way, whether they've used it or not, the county has still paid them a payroll for that time period anyway. They're getting paid 52 weeks if they work 52 weeks, or if they vacation for 2 of those. They're still getting paid 52 weeks. I don't know if that helps or hurts, but.
Does that clarify anything, Danielle?
It clarifies, I truly believe in the use it or lose it. The private world, that's how it may work in government. I don't know why it would be different, but.
There have been, Kathy probably knows words and I, but it seems like, haven't there been a few instances where with the use it or lose it, it comes at a bad time of the year for the department? So if somebody has the vacation time, they don't want to lose it. So they use it and it really becomes an inconvenient. So
I
like,
think it's more so for your smaller offices who have, one or two people in them. So basically it is left up to the discretion, I feel, of the department head. They have the ultimate say as to when and who can take the vacation.
but then it can put, without this, it could put them in an awkward position to deny somebody if they had to use it or lose it. So, yeah. It's easy to see both sides of this.
Well, further to Danielle's point, now we have two circumstances where we're conferring additional benefits on employees with respect to vacation pay. And the question is why are we doing this? Why are we now conferring new benefits?
I'm not sure I understand the question, but I don't think we're looking to do anything with creating a new benefit. I'll put that in parentheses. I think we're just trying to financially show the accrued cost to the county for that vacation time, because after that first year, you're already liable for, and I use that word loosely, but liable for vacation time anyway. And this just helps understand more what is the county's liable fiscal responsibility to employees for vacation time. True, there is a benefit in that we're allowing for a new bank. That, I guess, would be the new benefit. But it also, it's also, and I'll speak for myself, just from an employee side, that's kind of a nice little motivator or, a morale booster that says, hey, look, the county's not gonna punish me just because I'd like to take a vacation in October, yet in the treasurer's office, we've got 3 people working there, and October is a big collection of taxes, and we have a tax sale, and I can't take it. But at the end of October, if I don't take it, I've lost it, so I don't get paid that. But this is a motivator that says, hey, at least they'll let me bank that week so I can take it at a later date. Otherwise, I've got to eat into my new accrued time that I get as my anniversary date hits. So I'm just speaking from an employee who looks at this and says, wow, this would be a nice benefit for, for us. That's not.
And all you're doing is bringing all the employees under the same umbrella.
Correct, for the most part, because
The ones that have contracts already have that.
already have that written in. Yes.
And that's what we want to
Because
do.
it was negotiated by a contract. I think I agree with Jim on, I feel like we're providing 2 new benefits, and
Do you
I
think,
agree, I'm not sure why now is the time to do that.
would it make a difference if it was a different number of days?
It's not even about the number of days. I mean, it's a policy change. You're allowing, so if you lose it, you're now allowing to bank days. That is a benefit. It's a change. And accruing throughout the year is typical, but the other previous point, it is a good cost that the county doesn't have today. So if I accrue time throughout the year and then I leave, you have to pay me that time, where previously, if I left, you did not have to pay, the county did not have to pay out that time within the first year. So it is 2 additional benefits that weren't previously there.
I have a question for Paul. Paul, is this method incorporated into the our software now? And the way that we're looking at here to change the vacation, will it fit that Cassell Connect better?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking at. If it's gonna fit better than what we have and make it more I would say streamlined or easier to manage. As long as it's a new way to do it, it should be in there.
Okay, so to answer your first question, no, the current system does not track this.
Okay,
It's all by department head.
The department heads basically have to do
and
this.
that's FOP, sheriffs and.
Yeah, everybody, yeah.
Okay,
But to answer your second question, you're absolutely correct in that the software will be able to handle that
okay,
just based on,
seems like,
it's already a software written program. All you have to do is put in your variables. And the variables are what's the anniversary date of this employee and how many weeks of vacation per year based on that anniversary date does that employee get? So that will then accrue, 1 day a month versus a half a day a month, just based on time period that you've been here, or maybe they earn a day and a half. The system already will calculate that, you put in that anniversary date, those variables. So yeah, that's, the second question is yeah.
okay,
And then you're not relying on a department head that would have to then keep a paper file, if you will, or a spreadsheet file of which employee took what vacation days and how much did they earn, and so your system would do it for you.
okay, thanks.
Yep.
Any more questions or discussion?
I've got Marilyn, I don't know.
Okay,
She just jumped in, so I don't know.
did you want to? Marilyn Tipper's on, did you want to say anything, Marilyn? Marilyn, did you have anything to say on the vacation accrual?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Any other question or discussion on this? Is there a motion one way or, well, we would make the motion in a positive way, and then if you want to vote no, you could. Just the person making the motion has to vote the way they want the motion to go.
You want a motion, this is a resolution, right? That we gotta send that to executive committee,
Right.
is that correct?
Yeah.
I'll make that motion to send that,
Okay,
this accrual plan to executive.
okay.
I'll second it.
Second. Do you want a roll call vote on this, or just, well, we can just do it. All those in favor?
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4. No?
No, Jim Horstman.
42. Danielle, I think I saw you shake your head.
I said no, yeah, no.
Okay, I couldn't hear.
No, just don't.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, 4 to 2. Okay. All right. So that will go to finance and then to executive. Okay, then,
did you want finance or executive?
oh, I did. What did I say?
You said finance. right?
Well, finance meets before executive, that's all. Because just finance for information, because they're the ones that are in charge of that.
Whatever.
Yeah.
The motion was to go to executive.
Well, it is, but it will.
They can.
I was just gonna say, the information usually stops there anyway, so, thank you. So, all right, so then next up is,
So, and then just to finish it, because I've got a couple other things for the,
Oh, okay.
just to give you guys an update. We sent out 1,800 certified letters at the end of it was actually September 23rd for past due tax bills. So that's 1,800 out of basically 30,000 parcels. Haven't really had too many issues with COVID, meaning, the first time we gave them a 30-day extension, but not the second. And then our tax sale is still on for October 28th. So just wanted to give you guys that information, that that's what's going on in the office this month, and we'll be busy trying to, and most of those, to be honest, out of those 1,800, typically we'll see between 400 and 600 go to tax sale. So we'll probably get another 1,200 at least in tax payments this month,
okay, what was the date on this action?
October 28th.
28, thank you.
Also, the 1,800 going to Woodhaven.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I think of the 1,800, there were over 600 that went Woodhaven. Yes.
And a lot of times too, in the parcels, that's not 1,800 different landowners. A lot of them have multiple parcels.
Correct. Yes.
When you pointed to the microphone,
I'm just letting you know it's here in case you needed it somewhere
I
else.
thought it beeped and
No,
it's, okay.
no, I'm just letting you know that it's here in case you needed to move it.
Thank you.
So, I'm sorry, that's so Judy, that's all I have.
Hey, Paul, real quick, do we have to Zoom, or you guys talk about Zooming that meeting, or how are we gonna?
We've never had to, we've had to tape it,
Right, but,
meaning the tax sale.
right,
We've had to tape it, and
Right.
again, I think we will have to, but we've never had to Zoom that.
I mean, with this
It's
year.
never, and again,
It's gonna depend on the crowd size.
yeah, and really, it's, what you have to do, to be a tax buyer, you have to register well in advance anyway. So we would know the number that are coming.
Okay.
And they have to, they have to register before the 21st of October.
Yes.
So we would know more than a week in advance if we had too many people that are gonna be in this room right next door.
Yeah, because we'll have to set up a Zoom meeting and you'll have to send out that, get that info and send it to them if they can't make it, so.
Yeah, and so typically it's not, it's not an open, I guess people could show up, but they don't because they have to really be registered to be in that room to bid. If that helps you, Mike, I don't know.
Yeah, just let me know.
Okay.
Okay, anything else for the treasurer, questions?
The register, they have to quarantine,
Then they don't come.
and they need to.
Yeah,
How do you respond to them?
yeah, no, you can't because it's,
Yeah, and it's a delayed, there's just no way.
no,
You didn't say that you wanted to address the group B, but did you want to? before?
I do, but it's.
You're gonna have to argue
You
about
go ahead, that's fine, I don't mind listening to you.
because you were kind of in and out one way at the beginning.
I just wanted to let you know that next month is my anniversary. I'll be here 2 years as zoning administrator.
Oh, congratulations, yeah, you made it.
I've been here in the county almost 29 years. So. And just to kind of sum up the last 2 years here, last year, 2019, the county board voted to approve 2 wind farm repowering and an 800-acre, 100-megawatt solar project, the largest in the state. This summer, the county board approved the second phase for a 28-tower, 118-megawatt wind farm, and just recently, a 1,200-acre, 175-megawatt solar project. Next week, the county will start hearing testimony over a proposed 600-megawatt, almost 6,000-acre solar farm, the largest in the Midwest, possibly the nation. And then, in December, two petitions will be coming before the zoning board of appeals. A petition to repower a wind farm. This petition will be last year's Big Sky farm. But the company has changed several components to the project, which invalidates their petition from last year. And petitioning also in December will be a 4,000-acre solar project. I just wanted to put this all in perspective for you. My predecessor had 7 wind farms come to Lee County in a span of 15 years. I need help. I need someone who will give attention to all these renewable energy projects, both old and new. These projects need attention during all the phases of their lifespan, and I can't do it myself. I'm requesting the hire of a full-time employee as my administrative assistant to handle all renewable energy projects and to assist in the day-to-day operations in the Lee County zoning office. So I have the position, job description there. I'll be sending all your board members an email with the job description details.
Any questions at this time? Thank you. Good luck. Let's get started.
Okay, one tidbit that I wanted to let you know about, it's not on the report, because I didn't get it on there. The school's facilities tax. The one that we receive it 3 months late, so we get it we got June's at the end of September and we're paying it out today. For Lee County, in the October payment, that was June of 2019, was $192,357, basically $43 a student. October of 2020, which means it was June of 2020, $201,703 so $46 a student. So it actually went up. So until this last shutdown, at least, we were getting back to somewhat normal with our sales tax for the school facilities tax. So that's an encouraging sign. I hope it continues. We'll see. The next month will be, let's see, the November tax payment will be July. So I'll let you know if you want where we're at with that one. But I just thought it was interesting. I always compare for my superintendents to let them know where they're at, because they're trying to figure out how to long-term spend the money. And, you know, there were a lot of payments that were way down. So we're back to normal this time.
Well, too, whenever you gave a report at the end of the first year and how the districts were spending the money, and that was really, there was a very, very impressive project.
So, okay, so Whiteside County United Way gave us 1,250 backpacks to spread around the whole area, so not just Whiteside County. I thought that was great. Our area homeless liaison got them out all over northern Illinois to homeless students. They also donated 1,200 small cloth masks that we got out to our 3 counties for schools for the elementary kids, because it's really hard to find a mask to have extra masks on hand for the elementary kids that drop theirs in a puddle or worse. And so we were able to spread those out. So that was very nice of them. Project Well Student, Chris Tennyson has done a great job of working with KSB on, they're trying to get health clinics in schools. And so the regional office and KSB, through the Rural Health Network Planning Grant, got $100,000 to get this to get it started. So the ultimate goal is to get school-based health centers, and we're continuing to write grants for this. He's also working very well with the Lee Ogle Transportation, and they're in the process of writing grants to help out the schools. So he's doing a really good job with that. School inspections. I told you last month that we already had Sterling and Rock Falls, all those schools done. Last month we got Amboy, Morrison, and the Rochelle schools done. So we're working on getting them all done. Dixon is this month. We got some outlying small schools within the next couple of weeks. Stillman Valley we'll have to get, that's the next biggest one that we'll have to get. So we're working on it. We'll have them all done. Except for the ones I have to do with the state fire marshal's office instead of local fire department, we'll have them all done by Thanksgiving, I would think. But working with the state fire marshal's office inspectors is always hard to get them scheduled in. So we'll get there's only a couple that we have. Forestville Valley and Ashton Franklin Center are the 2 that have to be done with them. So you can see that our professional development, the numbers are down because the teachers are just so busy. We don't expect them to be doing a lot of PD right now. They're between trying to teach kids in person and also remote. They're doing double duty, a lot of them, and it's going remarkably well. I'm very, very pleased. And the thing that I've noticed in the schools that I've been to, the kids don't have a problem with the masks. Parents have a problem with the mask, but the kids don't have a problem with the mask. They're all wearing even the little ones, they're wearing their mask. It's not a big deal. My daughter teaches preschool. She said, except for having to help them put it on a lot, the kids don't have a problem wearing a mask. I was on a call with 21 other superintendents in Northern Illinois, and they said that the people that were anti-mask, that they were going to do remote learning, are sending their kids back to school for 2 reasons. First of all, they didn't realize how hard it was to teach a kid. And the other one was the neighbor kids are going to school, and their kids say, hey, how come I can't go to school? And it's not a big deal to wear a mask. So the kids are doing great. They really are. They're resilient. It's amazing. We're working with our local health departments. All three of the three counties are really working with us well and trying to get all the information we can to the schools and working through scenarios. I just had one today that on the way here, a principal called. There's two families living together, boyfriend, girlfriend, the Brady Bunch style. And they had to send one of the kids home with a headache, which meant they had to send the siblings home. Well, they included the ones from the other family because they're all living together. And the mom didn't think that was right because they weren't family. So why send them home? They live in the same house, but that's beside the point. So anyway, they're struggling, but they're getting it done. Our Center for Change, our numbers are still holding steady at 48. And most of our kids are coming in face to face. They want that, which is amazing for those kids that before we got them didn't even want to go to school. They want to come back to school. Mark Morris and his staff are doing a great job with that. The thing in the report that I really like is that there's 31 students in our flex programs with Oregon, Rochelle, and Stillman, and we opened a new one in Dixon. And that flex program is for the kids that can't go to school during the day, but want to still work on credits so that they can graduate with their class. Maybe they have childcare issues, maybe they have to work to support their family, but they can go at night. And so we have flex programs for them. And Dixon's just reopened last year. And we have 31 kids that will probably graduate that would have probably dropped out otherwise. So I'm very happy with that. So, any questions? You're the only ones without a question.
I'm gonna just skip county board for a little bit. Supervisor of assessments, Wendy, do you have anything? Wendy, do you have a report?
I think this is her, but
Okay. Well, I guess we can come back. I did not hear anything from veterans and Jim isn't up there. So we'll come back. Wendy, if you're listening and you come back in, let us know. Right, so county board, we have some things on that. Mr. Nicholson, do you have anything?
Right, basically you're covering a lot of it under new business. Some of what I've been doing lately is involving the EOC and some of the COVID-19 things. But aside from that, there was a comment made by several board members that several months ago, Becky updated the list of county board members with their address, their cell number, and their email address. Several county board members have indicated it might be something to consider not to put the address, considering the way things are these days. That's just something you need to consider and add services and address it at a different time. Some people just didn't want their address included in that. I personally don't care.
If you Google it, won't they find it then?
I was gonna say, I personally don't care.
I mean, the other option is they have to send it here and then Becky has to forward it on.
Well, I'm saying from a location standpoint. If you say or do something that they don't agree with, there's people in this day and age come to your home and say
But I'm
nasty
saying, I
things to
think
you or do
if they're in
nasty
your
things.
area, they know where you live anyway,
Pretty much.
and you can Google it, so.
I'm just relaying what was said to me.
Or
you could FOIA for the board of elections, but yeah.
Okay, I mean, so, yes, I mean, board member can request that it not be in the handbook, I think. I don't know if it said or not.
Can they do that, Candy? Is that, they can request it not be in the handbook, or you just come off?
It's just there. I mean, we're supposed to be accessible to
I
our
agree.
constituents, so.
Don't get me wrong, I agree. And that's what I've said. I feel that, this is county government. If somebody has a gripe with me, they can come and ash it out on the porch. We'll sit there in a rocking chair and talk things over.
Dwayne used to tell me though, he said you could put a limit on the amount of time you're on the phone with one person.
Yeah.
But,
Nope, that's, other than that, everything's getting done. The LEC is under construction, as you say, they're taking drywall. And it's,
not the LEC.
not the LEC, I'm sorry, EOC.
Okay. From what I'm hearing, that's gonna be a Taj Mahal.
Well, I don't know about Taj Mahal, but it's gonna be nice.
Well, it seems like it's getting a lot of extra. Okay, so then if we're going, the 2020 holiday schedule. I think that's pretty standard, that's what's in our, handbook. So I think this is more just, Mr. Nicholson would be signing it. I don't know that we need approval to do this, it's just,
No,
this is more FYI, and that you know that he would be signing it. And again, these are the handbooks, so there's one less day because there's not a national election next year, so you don't get that day off. Too bad, we still have over 2 weeks of holidays here, so plus what your other time is, I think you're good. Okay, so then, the fun one, the board meeting dates. I appreciate Becky coming up with both proposals, because that seems to be an issue. This will be a different group. I feel like I need to abstain on this one since I won't be here. But this one is for mornings and the other one is for split, mornings and evenings.
I'm gonna make a motion that we accept the all morning county board meetings for fiscal year 2021.
and I'll second that.
Okay.
We have the advantage of having many of the department heads at these meetings. And the question does come up, we can consult the department head for an answer.
Any other comments on that or questions?
Jim Horstman, to the other side of that, I've had a couple of conversations lately with people who have told me that having the morning meetings keeps people from being interested in serving on the board. And one guy, in fact, thought that having the morning meetings was intentional to keep other people off the board. So that's a counter consideration, I guess.
It is hard for working people to do morning meetings and serve.
We don't disagree, but, you know, I just think also people need to look at the attendance at the board meetings too, to see that, so.
I can't speak for everything, but I foresee that we'll go on with Zoom meetings, so that will make for better attendance of board members that can be there during the mornings. That helps out a lot.
Okay.
For the C meetings or the board meetings?
Committee and board meetings.
Did you hear him?
Committee and board meetings, Danielle.
Yeah, so it's for both, yep.
I would foresee.
So the motion was to make them all morning and not split?
Right, that means, you know, that if it gets voted down, then the other motion comes up. Okay, so, any other comments before we vote? You want to loud vote or just?
This is for,
The motion is for mornings right now, okay,
All day meetings.
all day. Your vote,
no,
Balin,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Danielle,
No.
and Horstman.
No,
Okay, so now then, do you have a motion from one of you three on the other one?
I'll make a motion to split morning and night meetings.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are you guys gonna still, you gonna go yes or no?
No.
Okay, so this one goes 3-2.
Well, what about your vote?
I already said I was abstaining because I'm not gonna be here,
Oh.
so it's not going to affect me, so I didn't think it was fair to impose my choice. Okay, so this one will go 3-2, go to the split to executive,
And vote the county board.
right, okay. Okay, and then just FYI, it's possible that the committee meetings would be as they are, but when the board is reorganized, this is optional, the chair and the committee can look at times. Usually, and again, you usually have to go for the majority and when the department heads are available, but, those have been split among the week. Other counties do things differently, but so far that's what Lee County's is. Okay. We spent considerable time in the past 2-3 meetings talking about consolidating GIS under one department and making it under assessment. Or the fact that it is consolidation, we have 2 GIS people now, one is under IT, one is under assessment. And if we put both of them under assessment, then we consolidate. That person would still be available for IT help.
I don't know.
No.
How do we know not to?
Is there
That's scary.
a vote to do that? Is there a motion to,
I'll make that motion, hearing none.
okay? Second?
What's the motion?
Motion is to consolidate GIS into the assessment office.
We're moving Tom over to the,
He would just, he
Assessment.
would report there. That's where GIS started.
okay,
Paul Myers giving up the pit, from what I understand, well, Paul's
Well, you'll
giving up what is considered the pit, so there'll be room there to put people in there.
okay, I don't have a second on that. Got a motion to consolidate into assessment. Is there a second?
I'll second.
I'll second, Jim Horstman.
Okay, thank you. All right, any discussion on that? Okay. All those in favor?
Are you getting anything from GIS IT or?
We did. We had the 2 meetings, but we were in executive session. We never had time to come out of it.
And I got a message saying that we were staying put and nothing was gonna be done.
Well, at that time, after that meeting, that's how.
Okay. I guess my concern is I have nothing in writing. I just get hearsay. I have nothing in writing stating any of the advantages, disadvantages. I have nothing given to me. How can I speak for or against when I don't have anything in writing given to me out of that meeting?
Well, you spoke against it.
I know, but you went to executive meeting. I have no idea what you guys discussed. So therefore, I have nothing in writing I would think something in writing would be beneficial, so I could at least.
Okay, well, the reasoning would be to consolidate.
Do I have anything in writing? I guess
Okay, in writing, it is going to say that it would put all the assessment in one department. I'm sorry, all GIS under one department, and that being assessment, for the fact that then they would be together. Do you need more than that?
I'd like to see the advantages, disadvantages. I'd like to see something in writing. I guess I'm concerned is I can't defend my department or anything unless I have something in writing, and I'd like to see it, read it, and review it. The other thing is too, is I never got a chance to do my
That's up next.
okay. No, my
Oh, your report.
report.
That one I definitely apologize on because then I get skipped.
Well, I mean, you're
I
in,
apologize, so.
So we have a first, second.
Okay, so, we'll just hold that for a minute, 'cause Mike, so that Mike can do his department report, because I really do feel badly about that. Because when I skipped you, it was with Wendy, and then Wendy wasn't there, so.
For you and Jim and Danielle, I'll go ahead and I can share this for you if that's okay.
Hello?
You guys, can you
I can
guys,
see it.
you guys see it?
Yes.
Okay. Let me get to where. Not sure if you guys want to see it or not.
You got an extra one?
You can have this one.
Maybe one mic.
I'll make it.
You, I can put it up here if you want. I'm just waiting for Becky if you want. Or what?
No, go ahead.
Oh. Danielle, Jim, are you able to see that?
Yes.
All right, just a recap of the last month or so. GIS, we've kind of a GIS IT thing. The DevNet server has been implemented. DevNet affects all offices for the taxes and whatnot. We put in a new server that was updated. And when we updated that, there's some behind the scenes information that get updated for our mapping and GIS stuff. Tom is very instrumental in doing that. It's something that he is very well equipped to do. It has to do with SQL and databases. He works closely with DevNet to get that done. That is something that is very, very worthwhile. And his skill set to get that done, it helps tremendously. As Dee was in here noting, the solar farms, there's been more and more requests for analysis and parcels for wind farms. He's set to work with Highway for a kickoff meeting for traffic accident reporting. Web maintenance, Dixon Public Work App tweaks, hydrants database, so forth. He's helped with Zoom meetings. It's all right there. Those are the kind of the highlights. IT, again, the DevNet server implementation, the treasurer's office computer. We've been running into some Windows 10 updates that have been wreaking havoc in a couple of departments. They get installed automatically. You turn them off and then after so much time, they'll come back and they'll install themselves. So a couple departments have had that happen. The cabling in the old courthouse and the fiber runs in the new courthouse are going on right now. I believe they're wrapping up soon in this building. We've installed domain controllers, 911. We have a cybersecurity implementation going on. I'm not gonna go through all of them. You've got them there. Some of the other big ones are the deputies. We got 3 new people starting, so they have to be wiped clean and restarted and reconfigured for those people. And again, with the phone upgrades, the switches and whatnot, that upgrade, the network upgrade was signed and sent. So that should be starting this next month. And then also as Nicholson announced the EOC, we've been working with Kevin, getting that stuff done. There are some requirements in there that require our services. And last but not least, the JSI, which would be full court, full case in the circuit clerk's office. Zach has been delegated to do the upgrades and patches and whatnot. And we are also informed that the state requiring us to implement or integrate our FCE program with the state. Zach's going to be working with that. It's something that has to be done. The circuit clerk's office in Winnebago County are the only 2 counties in Illinois that have this product. So therefore it's a kind of a unique product. And Zach's been working with the company to get that done. Just a few more notes while people are in here. Paul stated about the new accounting program. That's going to require the new server installation. I've got the server in, it's running Windows right now, but the software has to be installed, tweaked, and configured. That is something that we do not do. I have to coordinate that with the company and see what their time frame is. Therefore, I have to wait and see. I'm hoping that maybe this week, next week, we can get that installed so they can begin their process. In addition, as Dee stated, all of these solar farms and solar wind projects require Zoom meetings. We're talking anywhere from 3 to 5 to 6 meetings per. These happen at night. That means we are here from 6:30 to 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. My staff are here to help. The judge appreciates us being here. With the new restrictions and whatnot, that's going to require us to have multiple areas for the people to view. So again, department's running full steam ahead. I've got other projects and tasks listed and another thing for future stuff, but those are kind of the highlights right now. So this is just
Questions?
I have one, Jim. Would it be possible to hire somebody on a contractual basis or something to run the Zoom meetings? Does that take a high level of technical competence, or could you get somebody more at a clerk level to run those Zoom meetings?
I'll answer that with, it doesn't take a lot to run it. The problem is that there's issues on the back end with a network or something like that. I don't have any problem hiring or contracting that out. I just caution is if there is a major if somebody's here that doesn't know the network and whatnot, when we can obviously teach them, but if there's some major and it's a meeting for the solar farms, how crucial is it for us to be here? That's pretty much, I have no problem handing that process off.
Thank you.
Today you hadn't proposed that, you suggested it, so. Any other questions?
Contract that to somebody like Doug Carlson or something.
Okay.
Just inquire.
He's inquiring now, but this has been going on since March. And it just seems like there's an awful lot of, we're saying that with IT and now supposedly GIS getting behind, that, this has not been brought up.
Solar farm,
At all.
let's take
It should be. Well, so is this. It's committee week, they're losing 4 mornings, somebody's losing 4 mornings a week.
With the zoning meetings, Alice Hankel, the board secretary, she's usually running the actual Zoom.
Right.
But one of you are still there.
Well, we have to be here because we got to run the YouTube and the overflow room is here. I'd be more than happy to give it up. I just don't know if there's if there's something that happens. I don't want my department to be to blame, but I think with the restrictions coming up, the overflow is going to be here, and I think they're wanting another room downstairs. If Alice is willing to do all 3 of those rooms.
Mike, do, you and your department, like, Zach and Tom, and you, all 3 of you do Zoom, you split it up,
Yep.
one takes one, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we're rotating them around, so.
Okay.
And the report.
So one guy's every,
No.
get a night off anyway.
Right, yep, exactly, yep, and I've already, we don't know until Judge Slavin assigns those dates, we have no idea. So they're having a meeting the 15th, then the following week, they set those 6 meetings, 3 days, Monday through Wednesday, and then the following,
Yeah.
so. Again, if there's somebody willing to do that, that's perfectly fine, so.
It was in Jim Horstman's report when he did that, how many hours, and you had way more than any of the other 2. So it sounds like you're giving that up a little bit more now. Of course, I'm not finding it.
So we have the process down, people log in, Alice does do the Zoom part of it, but we still have to have somebody in here doing the YouTube. Downstairs, they're wanting to present something downstairs. No problem delegating it off if.
Well, the thing with committee meetings is we really don't have to do a Zoom for the public. We can access all of that through a telephone as we did in the past.
All they gotta do is see it.
Huh?
Right, all they gotta do is see it on YouTube, right?
I mean, as far as committee members that can't make it to the meeting, they can call in and be online. We don't have to have Zoom open for the public. If the public wants to attend a committee meeting, they're welcome to attend. We don't get the public to come to committee meetings.
Well, we
So we really don't need to Zoom them, we can teleconference with the telephone, as we did in the past.
Is that considering COVID and the state rules? I'm not sure.
I walked in the middle of it, I'm not sure what you
Oh.
discussed.
He's saying that we wouldn't need to Zoom committee meetings. We could just teleconference like we did previously. But I'm not, the way that state law came out.
State law says that your board meetings have to be
Well, it's the exception to the Open Meetings Act that the
accessible
governor
to the
changed.
public, but not committee meetings. I mean, they are accessible if the public wants to come in,
Sure.
but they
To
don't
a
have,
point, I mean, there's not a lot of room in here.
but they don't have to be Zoomed out for committee meetings.
We just have to give them a reasonable way to participate.
Use the phone, so that would be sufficient then?
If it works,
We've never had public attend.
sure.
Well, once in a while we do when there's.
Yeah, it's not.
I agree, it's very seldom, but we have had.
It's one thing we have learned with these Zoom meetings and so on, we do have to give them the ability to come to the meeting if they want somehow.
But at this point, we're only allowing, live stream for the public. The Zoom is just for the county.
Correct. And I would assume you want to give the board members an ability to be able to Zoom in so that they can see it here as well, but
I know, a lot of board members well, we have one now, but, by phone. So would that free up, how do you think that's gonna go with other board members? Can they just, Danielle and Jim, you're on there now. Marilyn, would you be good at, would calling in for a committee meeting work for you, or do you want the Zoom or YouTube?
I don't necessarily have a preference.
Either way would work for me. I do like, the Zoom, you get a better feel of what's happening, I think, than just listening.
I would agree with that too.
I think the Zoom would be necessary, I really.
Yep.
lean toward
Okay, so then that's that,
I would just make a recommendation that executive discuss it.
okay. So the feeling here is, anyone else here in this room agree with Mr. Gilboy's? Okay. Think it needs to be Zoomed, or you think you're okay with just phone?
I'm okay with the phone.
I think so.
Okay. And that comes out kind of split.
If you did that, you'd still have to YouTube, and I could show somebody how to start their YouTube.
Okay. Is YouTube live? Yeah, it is.
Yep.
It is, never mind, that was okay. So, on that, any other questions that we talked about by looking at the GIS? Several of these are new, since this discussion has come up, that are listed under that.
The other,
Things have come up.
sorry, the other thing to add to that, forgot to put it in there, is it's later on down the road, but it's the 911 public safety software. We had a kickoff meeting. I forgot to mention, we had a kickoff meeting last month on that. GIS is going to be heavily needed for that project. We have to have our own server and software for that. We didn't know that. We do now. So that will be something that's going to be a pretty big deal. Again, they stated that that's going to be a whole kind of side project that has to be done before we can implement, so.
Okay, so, but isn't that something though, once it's up and ready, that Carmen should be able to help him with that?
It'll be a
Through the
dual.
GIS,
it'll be a
through
dual.
the ETSB?
It'll be a dual process. Both will be needed. Both Carmen and
Okay,
Tom.
which leads me to think that, that's the reason they can, if they're working together, then they cover for each other. Because we haven't had that. Is a concern that I'm hearing. Training, I think on the solar, on the wind projects, on the net zoning stuff, I think that comes through assessment office too, as well as the zoning office. So those requests, once they're available, she's can be the one that prints them off too. Or sends them out.
Jim, can I ask you a question real quick? I just thought about this. Mike, would you be able to remote in if there was a problem with Zoom, that you'd be able to do something with that? That way you guys don't have to sit around all night?
Well, if it's a network problem, then
Well, yeah, if it's network, yeah.
yeah. If it's
Yeah.
if it's network problem, then no.
I mean, if it's a network problem, then nobody can do anything with it unless.
Right.
The actual.
Right, yeah. If I guess it would be if Dee and Judge Slavin are comfortable, because there's been times when Judge Slavin obviously is not computer literate.
Sure.
and he's trying to share his screen or things like that. I just know that I've been requested by Dee and Judge to be there.
Sure.
So again, I'm more than willing to do my share. If they're willing to give that up and not need it, I'm perfectly happy with that too. I just know the crucial things that goes on and the money is generated in projects. So I'm open to any suggestions. So.
Sorry, Matt.
No, thank you. So what I heard you say today too is that the Casell program is going to we need a separate server.
We already have it.
We have it, but you installed the DevNet.
They're two separate servers.
Okay, that's what, see, because at one time,
We bought,
the new one that you installed covered the clerk's office, the assessment office, the treasurer's office.
that's
Or
DevNet.
DevNet,
That's DevNet.
That's all DevNet.
yes.
Yeah. So we bought that server, got that replaced, and now we've got, Paula bought a new one just for the financial stuff. And then what we're gonna do is use,
Separate.
yep, we're gonna
Before
use,
they were all on one, and that's where I got.
Well,
No.
no, you're talking two different things. The DevNet server is our tax extension, delinquent taxes.
Okay, but then why did that,
Casell is our accounts payable and.
I
So they're two separate servers. They're not housed on the same server.
okay. So that other, the old server then is still, you've been using it?
The old server.
The old server for the financial part is still workable, so.
the new financial server now is online. It's on the cloud. Financial Edge. That's the one she's using right now.
Right,
The new one, Casell, requires a new server.
it will be a server.
Paula bought that and it's in my office. I have to get them to install the software and configure it to their, okay? And then once that's up and running, then we're able to, if something happens to one server, we're able to move the server database to the other server. So we kind of have a
Backup. Okay.
but that's obviously something that I need to process here quick.
All right, any other questions here?
You have a motion and a second on the floor. Consolidating,
Thank you.
and we've had a lot of discussion
All right,
off different subjects.
okay, so, for reasons Mike wants it in writing, so if we do come up with this, then I consolidated GIS under assessment. We would put both GIS positions in one department. It would allow that there's some cross-training and covering to back up each other and mutually provide some of the requests that come as far as zoning, mapping, requests. Was that clarification for the group or not? So the motion was to consolidate, and I write down who made that motion.
Bob Gibble made the motion, Jim Horstman.
Thank you. Okay, I did write it. All those in favor of consolidating?
Yes?
Aye.
Yes,
1, 2, 3,
No,
okay,
Aye.
Aye.
5 to 1. Thank you. Then, do you want me to talk to town for you, Mike?
No, I'll talk to him. I still don't agree. I just want to state it. I still don't agree. I still have nothing in writing to discuss or to disadvantage this, pro advantage. I have nothing in writing. I'm confused. So I'm just stating that I disagree. So just wanted that stated.
Okay. I think that we are getting a lot more. It's never been a question that he's not working. It's just been a question of how much is getting done. There's a little bit better reporting here. Okay, Mike, so then when we go on to you, did you have anything that you wanted to say about your position? So I'm looking at all the, I think we've been looking at all the work that IT has. But I'm not seeing how this is being organized to be more efficient. I understand, I know you did an emergency job last week for getting the CERMA information. I know that, I forgot what something else went down, and I know that you had to step in and take care of it. there's still a lot of the fireman stuff. We've talked about, is Zach taking more leadership, responding over there without you? I know there's some things you have to work together on. How are you seeing this organized? So, these are all projects that you have down for IT, but I'm not seeing how they're broken out as to who's responsible. You talked about the JSI and Qualtrics projects, that being Zach. How do you see getting IT to be more efficient?
So what topic are we on right now? Because I've been told that I need to bring stuff here for my new job request.
I thought that's what you were doing with,
So,
that you started it, so you have more?
well, I have the information I brought to finance to recommend a new hire, which I thought that's what I needed to do.
Okay, well then.
And I have
please do it.
that, but I also look, if there's a question in regards to my department and the duties, responsibilities, and the discussions that you've had, I'm again going to ask to please have something in writing. I have not seen any piece of paper in regards to any of this. I hear that there's frustration in the department heads and things, but I have yet to see any documentation. How am I to address any of this without any documentation given to me? I have yet to see anything listed.
Okay,
Can someone please hand me that or give me that so I can review and respond?
right.
I'm kind of at an unfair advantage.
I welcome that any other committee members here or anyone else here to jump in. I would say to that, Mike, that is the reason, because people like you, appreciate your service, and that is why Mr. Gibler and I have talked to you, and we're trying to inspire without writing it up. No one has filed a written complaint. They're all verbal, and you know that.
I'm asking, you're saying that there's other department heads have responded that there's frustration or something's not getting done. But if I don't know what those are or are not, how do I respond to them? Because I guess I'm confused as to, you're saying they're frustrated. What are they frustrated with and stuff? That's where I'm.
Well, to put it out specifically as to each and everything that's not being done, no.
Yes.
Overall generalities, we have expressed to you in our meetings that
Right.
things are not getting done.
And you're referring to.
In fact, the main fact probably is because of that, the server going down and the departments in this building not being able to access their work.
And it started way before,
No,
with the computers
are you-
being the way.
are you-
May I jump in a moment?
The referring to the DevNet server, that was down for
That,
4 hours.
and I'm saying that it was before that, when people had to wait.
May I jump in, please?
Marilyn, go ahead.
I think the frustration with the department heads, as far as I see it, is the backlog of issues. They request new computers, and it may be anywhere from 6 months to longer till that new computer is installed in their office. It's a backlog. Yes, there are other things, but I think that's the immediate frustration that I view.
Okay, and thank you, Marilyn. I think from that standpoint, I think from the hiring of a new person to address those issues with the backlog. Again, a lot of those, as an IT director and when I see a problem arise, if a person's computer is still running and able to work versus someone that's not working, then we address the issue where they're not able to do their duties. So that's where some of that comes into play when the new systems aren't installed and the lack of personnel to do that. So I think from the standpoint of my recommendation for a new person at that entry level to accomplish those tasks would suffice for that. And again, I think in addition, the last couple months with COVID, the EOC, the Voice Project, those are projects that were added that I hadn't planned for. And if you look at those and look at my meetings, I've asked for suggestions, I've asked for help, I've asked for to please pause some of those projects so that I could catch up. And yet we continue on with the EOC, the Voice Project, because we knew public safety was coming down the pipe. And that's a big one. So, you know, I did ask for help, I did ask for suggestions, and I did ask to hold off on some of those projects until I could get caught up. So.
But Mike, when you ask for help, you have help here. And Tom has not helped you with the IT part of it.
You have to understand the IT is not, IT is so many different levels.
Tom can install a computer. He can fix a computer. He can upgrade a computer. But those things were not being done. And you had the help. The help just wasn't doing the job.
Tom,
This started way before COVID.
Performance, we got.
yeah,
Right. You
We did.
okay,
start getting into performance issues, you have to go to executive session.
okay.
Secondly, what I wanted to say is, you've already discussed the situation when you may hire an entry-level person to help Mike. Mike can coordinate stuff, the entry-level person can then do the minor upgrades, installation, new computers, so on and so forth. Mike, you mentioned you have the job description you were going to submit to this committee, because it's gotta go to this committee first, then to finance, then to executive, to get on you. So
Right, I have all that, I did that at finance too. I also have a kind of a thing too with where we're going with that, like where, you know, what that
Well, then
person would
please do
do.
it.
Well, okay, I just, again,
Well, that's, what I mean, I asked that initially, that's where
I
we're,
know, but you started on that end and again, I'm just kind of
there's
confused.
a certain level of things that you can do, Mike, that an entry-level person can't do. So you need to break it down so that entry-level person is taking the grunt work away from you.
Right, exactly,
You can concentrate on the more important issues.
right.
And
That's where I'm wanting to
we've had
go.
this discussion before, you and I personally.
Yeah, that's where I'm wanting to go, and that's where I think a lot of misunderstanding is that there's so many different levels of IT, and the entry level is to get that.
please, can you do your presentation, Mike?
This is the job description with the pay. This is what I gave finance. I'll try to share it with these guys. I've also got another sheet that I can print out for you guys. I just was updating it and hadn't had a chance to update it, so. Sorry, I updated it, but I didn't have a chance to print it for you.
You wanna send it to me?
Let's see, I just want to see what, I think, let's open this up and I'll let. Danielle and Jim, you still there?
Yes,
Okay. I just handed out a sheet. And I will share that with you. Can you see that?
yes.
Oops. Okay, that's just a sheet there of what I handed out. I'll let you guys just review that for a sec, and then I have another page. Like I said, I didn't get a chance to print it out. What's that?
Do you email?
You want me to?
I can print them.
So she then she can do that and put it up too. If we go into executive session, if we get the other two in there.
Then I can be able.
Probably.
We need to
What?
move in.
Do we have to go to executive session?
We only have to go into executive, we're gonna talk about specific performance of an employee, not just the department itself.
Okay, the department, because what I'm looking at is how this is gonna be organized.
And
That's where
And
my
you'll
big
probably,
issue is.
And that-
probably touch on performance stuff then?
then I'm gonna present that too.
Just categorize the duties of the people. I mean, that job
No.
description you just
No.
gave.
That's a job description.
Right.
It's not the organization.
I've got,
I understand. I'm telling you again.
my battery's running low now, so, I'll try to get you guys what you want. So. give me a second.
Don't you have the power cord?
I didn't expect to be this long.
Yeah, did you get, you were here. There you go. Yes, it is.
Okay,
You're right. You're right.
I have to, okay, if you guys want that, I have to go get my power cord.
Well,
So,
he's right.
Not on the agenda, so we can look at it. That's about it.
I was told that's what I had to bring. So,
Next time. Or
Oh,
yeah,
that's not.
we can't, right?
You talking about hiring the person?
Yeah, we can't,
That's not on there.
not on the agenda, so we're.
I mean, you can't take any action on it, you can certainly talk about it.
Okay.
my computer went, my thing went down, so I gotta go get a power cord. So, you guys are still running, everything's still alive. Let me go get my power cord or whatever we need.
Do you need to show them? We won't just project that.
Well, I need to send Becky the sheet.
You also must be good too, so you want to take a break or?
I guess we're taking a break, you guys, sorry.
Yeah, first week.
Grandson out fishing the other day, he kicked his butt about 2 weeks ago. Haven't had time to get out. It's nice to kind of fill the freezer before winter gets here.
Greg just, his son-in-law, Larry Morning, I don't know if you know Larry,
I know it.
bought a house down there in August, so we've been.
What, Shelbyville? There you go.
We were down there before Labor Day, then we're down there the week after Labor Day. And, kind of.
Oh, Jimmy, I'm still at the meeting. We're just taking a break. Good. So that's we're not there. Yeah.
Nice place.
We bought some ground up in South Dakota, North Dakota.
Oh, my gosh.
No, he sold that years
Well,
ago.
good, you got some sleep,
That was
yeah.
a piece of- But this is a nice house, 3-bedroom home.
You get retired down there.
Covered
It is a second.
Second home.
That's all right.
And it's,
Well,
we're setting it up for,
very fortunate. It saves a little bit of money too.
it's not a shack.
Well, I owe you $375, right? No, he's a good guy. I mean, thank you. Brent got him over.
That's all right. I'll go.
I'll accept the 325. I appreciate coming in of some sort.
That way. Okay, everything's done to your liking.
Oh, wow, that's pretty nice. Yeah. What's it in, like a subdivision adjacent?
No, it's right on the highway, right, this way where he's standing and taking
Oh,
pictures.
isn't that great?
It's, right on the highway, about 3 miles from
Good.
launch.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, it's,
And
I
it's,
gotta screw around that one and go to a
beds,
beer skate or something.
beds, 2 or 3, I don't know how many beds, maybe 4 beds down there now.
Yeah. All you need.
Good.
We'll be there.
Don't have to fish.
Okay.
Table to play cards and have beer at an alarm clock to get you up in the morning. That's all we take. Oh, God.
Yeah. Chairs are not as comfortable as the other ones used to be.
Yeah, no, they're not.
These are pathetic, actually.
They're okay on the butt, but the back and this here.
They're not okay in my butt. I've got no butt to begin with, so.
Jimmy, you ain't making your 10:30 appointment.
You know, it was,
No, I wanted to
it was
leave
touch
early.
and go anyway.
I wanted to leave early too,
Okay, ready? No?
I'm missing Bill.
Oh, that's true. Oh, Bill, I didn't.
We lost him.
He's done. I need to get done.
Okay, Mr. Horstman?
Yeah,
Yes. I have some notes and then you have specific things that we would like to see, put in for streamlining. And, yeah, do you have,
Did you email me?
try to do it.
I didn't realize I was sitting there with him.
I have them here. Did you have any? I wish I'd emailed you before. You know, so we were looking at, we had talked about some things that we would like to see strengthened, better documentation on. Do you have anything specific on that?
with respect to what?
Getting documentation, different accountability coming from IT. It's what we talked about, the job tickets, the weekly reports, who has what assignment, how much time is spent on various jobs.
Right, I think we had talked about a system that, records requests for services from the department heads. So we can see when the request was made and what was requested to be done. And then on the IT side, a log that shows when the requests were accepted and the progress toward completion, which would include, time, who's working on it, that sort of thing. So on the IT side, if somebody is looking down the log, they can quickly see what tasks remain incomplete and how long people have been waiting for them. So I guess my initial thought, I think IT already has an special email address that people can use to request services. That may be sufficient for that part. But I think what we hadn't seen any mention of is in one place, a log where IT accepts the assignments and then tells people how much time it's going to take, and then indicating progress toward completion. But I don't know exactly how the log looks in terms of how it looks on the computer, but I know there's people are doing this. IT companies do this.
Yeah,
So there must be.
Sorry, Jim, there are programs out there that will do something like that, like a task list or something that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are programs out there.
So things don't get lost, and if there's a need for somebody to take a look to see the progress being made on the various tasks, there would be somewhere to look.
So your recommendation would be to purchase some type of time program or something, a task list?
I don't
know if it requires.
Go ahead, Mike. Sorry, Jim.
I was just going to say, I don't know that it requires purchasing anything or not, but in terms of the functionality, my mind works in old-fashioned ways, a paper log where somebody calls you, says they want you to do something, you write down what they need, and then you check off, when it's done and when you told them it was going to be done. Obviously, you're not going to do it on paper now, but whether that requires a new program or not, I don't know. Just some record-keeping device or system.
Well, a lot of times too, the department head would say, if you have an assignment ready that morning for where the people were supposed to go, other things come up, but at how much time it takes that you're spending there.
But I mean, they have programs that integrate, that request comes in.
Right. But you haven't. Okay, so how are you now? You ready?
I sent something to Judy, I'm waiting for that to come through.
Mike, on this new hire, or proposed new hire, have you already submitted that to finance?
All that documentation was submitted at finance.
That was submitted to
I
finance already?
I don't know if they took it or not. I don't know.
finance threw it back to this committee.
Well, what I'm getting at is that we don't have to make a recommendation and forward this to finance if it's already been submitted to them.
I'm saying we didn't have it on our agenda specifically, but, it's just, I think the questions become, is progress going to be made or not be made if there is another entry level position? That's been the big question that has been coming through for months.
And I addressed that with, I wish I have something in writing that I could see.
We don't.
So,
I didn't get anything.
is your email working?
I've gotten 4 other emails.
Can we just, if we're just gonna be in generalities, can we just talk about it then? Is it something that you could have just put up on the wall or the screen that they could see?
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I could do that. Give me a sec though. I lost my connection to Zoom for some reason. So can you give me one more sec here?
He's doing that. The only other thing that was on the agenda is that our next meeting would be Monday, November 20th, or I'm sorry, Monday, November 9th, 2020 at 9 a.m. When and again, you've got your job description, which I think this is pretty much what was, when Zach was hired, true?
I've updated it since, but
And it's been updated, I can compare it exactly. Then, since Mr. Wetling is correct and has verified by our state's attorney that this specific item is not on the agenda, so, I still think that the overall question is, how is this organized? How is the department organized? That is what, is there leadership from the department?
so, are you able to see the screens? Jim?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, these are just some things that I did request that I brought to the finance committee for justification of the new person. As you know all of this, you said, so basically getting down to the benefits of hiring an IT technician. Basically, roundabout generalization would be a proactive approach. If you could talk to my wife, I'm a very proactive person. I plan to the T. I go overboard when I plan, when I have the time. Proactive approach is the best way instead of reactive. Obviously, you need people, staff, and time and money in place to be able to be proactive. Again, in the last 6 months, we've gotten a lot thrown at us. And again, I will reiterate, IT has been here nonstop. We are essential. We have been here every day. New hire, better IT responses, new computer installs. We could keep track of the hardware and software in a better, inventory to figure out what needs to be replaced down the line, have a upgrade so that we could give to the department heads and say, hey, in a year or two, you're going to need a new system. Servers as well, we can keep track of the servers. The antivirus software can be maintained at a higher level where, we can make sure the updates are going through. Windows updates, the server updates can get done in a timely manner. And again, I'll discuss whose responsibilities. Better cross-training. Bear with me, guys. I got 2 computers running here, so I gotta make sure. It doesn't let me. There we go. Also allows better rotation for vacation. Right now, one person's gone. We're kind of back to 1.5 staff. Second level person could administer the server, hardware, software updates. And again, I'll show you what I mean by that. IT director allowed to focus more on, again, coordinate projects, making sure our systems are up to date, when they need to be updated, when they need to be purchased, switches and routers, networking equipment, servers, things like that. And sorry, okay. So here's kind of and again, there's could be more, but I just wanted to, as the IT GIS director, proactive approach, oversee new projects, keep inventory of dated equipment, and I can create a cybersecurity plan and create backup recovery plan. Cybersecurity has become really a hot topic. Just ask Kathy in elections. I get at least 5 or 6 cybersecurity emails a day. This needs to be updated. This needs to be updated. Be careful of this. And then there's the other ones that are specific to elections. Some of that stuff can be delegated down and some things can't. And then as I broke it down, I have Zach, senior IT technician, just lack of specific title. But right, as I said, the FCE updates and the state integration, I have delegated that to him. That is a huge responsibility that's been given to him, and he's taken it up. And those updates happen, could be one a month, could be one every couple months, but he has to update the servers on the test program. And then once they're active and given the go-ahead, he has to update that to production. In addition, he also has to talk with support and make sure all that's done. And then in addition, there's a state integration, which he's going to have to work closely with Winnebago. Winnebago has a dedicated IT staff just for FCE. They have at least 2 people dedicated just to that program. And then basically that's will allow him to continue to do that and also do the Windows Server updates, still do day-to-day operations, because day-to-day operations, and I'm talking can't print, can't do this, something happens. That's probably 60%, I would say, of our daily duties. The new hire, basically new computer installations, hardware, software troubleshooting, and day-to-day operations. Obviously, there's a whole list of things that could be done. But right now, as I mentioned, you mentioned delegation. It's hard for me to delegate to the staffing that I have Zach being over in that building, he stays over in that building majority of the time. The only time that he does come over is if I need help doing the Zoom meetings, or if he's out at the LEC. He just went out there this morning. They had issues out there. He went out to the LEC. You've recommended the GIS person. Well, that's out the window because I no longer have a GIS person. So guess what?
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. Not under my supervision. So basically now it's Zach and I delegated to the Zoom meetings. So, so there's, I mean, again, if I could delegate, I would. If I could be a proactive approach, I would. But to say I don't delegate and to question the duties of my support person, he's over there working his tail off, trying to get stuff done. And I mentioned the EOC. John, I just asked, the EOC is going to be up and running fairly quickly, and that is somewhat of a priority to get that running, correct? Mm-hmm. Some people don't think that that's a priority for us, but it is, and we've been working diligently with Kevin to get that done. Zach's worked 2 or 3 days consistently with Kevin to try to get that resolved. He's putting in new cameras. He's putting in new IT equipment. Just because there's somebody contracting out the wiring and cabling doesn't mean that we don't continue to do that, to help. Just because they're putting in new cabling and somebody else is doing that doesn't mean that we no longer do it. There's so many other things that I think people don't realize that we cover. And as I mentioned in one of my, up at the top here, you know, somebody mentioned, well, Whiteside County is bigger. Yeah, they have more people, but that doesn't mean they've got 3.5 staff members. That doesn't include GIs or anything. That's 3.5. They may be bigger in size and population. They still have the same number of departments and offices that we have to maintain, it just like they do. So I think from the standpoint of being fair, Ogle County, I know contracts a lot of stuff out. Whiteside County contracts a lot of stuff out. If you want me to contract stuff out, I already do at a higher level that's beyond Zach and I. The new voice system requires specific configurations and whatnot of our switches. I'm hiring that out. That is getting done. I do hire out the higher level stuff that maybe a little bit more above our heads. I do delegate that out. If you wish for me to delegate and hire more of that out, I can do so. I think from the, you know, as I mentioned a couple months ago in our meetings, I did ask for help, and I did ask that some of the projects possibly could get delayed so that we could finish catching up. Now, again, John, I'm not going to pick on you, so to speak, but the EOC at the time we moved it, it was a priority when we moved it. And now it's a priority because of the virus or because of COVID and the grants and stuff. Some people don't see that as a priority, but when John comes in and asks and says, hey, we need to get something for Kevin, we do it, okay?
I agree, that's not the point.
But it is the point, because those are things that are day to day that, you know, I can't just delegate because I didn't know they were going to be there. And you said that that's not a priority. And for you, you know.
Well, it wasn't my vote. I didn't say that.
I understand that, but in your eyes, it could be. In somebody else's eyes, it is.
Right.
And again, when I see somebody's computer not functioning and they're not able to function and work, that takes precedence over somebody that's getting a new computer that continues to work. And from that standpoint, we had an influx of computers that were in. Majority are in now. So, we're trying to play, if we can alleviate the COVID stuff and the Zoom meetings and things like that, that's 6 meetings a week. Those people that come in at night for the Zoom meetings for the zoning and stuff, they don't get overtime. So if they come in and work 3 or 4 hours at night, yeah, they're obligated to come in, but at some point too, they're obligated to get some time off some other point. So I'm just throwing that out there too. Those zoning meetings, you're talking 6 meetings a month,
I think we
18, 20 hours.
Yeah.
So, and again, if Tom's moved now, Wendy's going to have to.
We haven't even set a date for that happening, but.
I just assumed it was going to happen immediately.
Well, I think there are things that have to be in place, and it has to go through the whole board anyway, so.
Okay.
It could be December, could be.
And I'm going to state it now. I apologize if I didn't answer people's questions. Again, if I could just have some things that you want me to address, like if there's a lack of computers not being installed or things like that, if I could just have that little list of things that.
Okay, do you have any questions here? 'Cause obviously we can't go.
I have a question, Jim Horstman. Mike, do you have any way to quantify how much time the public safety software suite integration is going to take? Your time or an assistant's time? That's coming up soon. Is that going to be a big bite of your resources?
As I stated before, on the GIS side, they don't have any specific time allocated right now. There's no project timeline. The instructor just stated that would be a huge undertaking for the GIS part of it. In respects to the IT part, the integration for that, is basically it hits dispatch, which dispatch is part of the sheriff's department. Therefore, it's not 911. RMS, record management deputies, Vision Mobile deputies. Well, sorry, not Vision Mobile, but the mobile part of it is deputies, and then the jail part. So once we get going with it, and again, we have to depend on the contractor or the software vendor as to when things are going to go and when we're needed and whatnot. And then depending on the modules discussed. I can't give you that exact amount. Again, all I can give you is the 18-month implementation. And I will say at times it will require me to be there all day for maybe 2 or 3 days. And again, it just depends on the key areas that they're discussing that week.
Okay, do you anticipate that as that project advances that you're going to develop a better idea so you could tell us how much time is going to be required for IT?
I can try. Again, that's going to be once the project timeline is given to discuss when we're going to be needed. If you talk to, if you saw the instructor's timeline, basically it said the top 10 successes to implementation is IT. And that was specified that IT will be responsible for the success of this. So again, I cannot because of the timeline.
Okay. This was a project too that originally it was supposed to have started before, like in September, but Mike's told us last spring. And then COVID and everything else has set that back. that was voted on about a year ago, to put the money in the budget. So,
And it's just to kind of clarify, Jim, just to let you know, some of it will require one, and at some point, some will require more than one person, just because of, like for the deputies and the tablets and getting, we're at the mercy of 24/7 officers that are there 12 hours on, 12 hours off. We may have to come in at 5 o'clock in the morning to train them or to get their systems or whatever. So it may require us to, one or two people at that time. So.
Okay.
okay,
Well, just a follow-up. Mike, part of the difficulty in analyzing your request for an additional person is it's not clear whether an additional person is going to solve all the problems. Are you telling us that if you get an extra person, all the delays are going to be eliminated and you're going to be able to keep up with the public safety software thing and all of that?
I don't have a crystal ball. COVID, we never know what's going to happen, but if I can get that person in, start implementing, start getting the new systems installed, the new computers and whatnot, get them to a level where they're comfortable with our network. Again, there's a little transition there. We got to remember back in March, it was about a year and a half that Zach had been here. He's just now, after 2 years, getting every kind of development into the network. Every network's different. So bringing that person in and getting that person, familiar with our system so that they can not only install the computers and then also troubleshoot, it's going to take a little while. But yes, I do feel that will help tremendously. The delegation, the proactive approach. I've been doing this for 30 years. I've seen every aspect of it. And again, I'm going to tell you right now, the last 6 months, what we've gone through has not helped. And again, 30 years of doing this, I think I know what I'm doing, and I've seen a lot of things.
okay. I would ask, I'm sorry, Jim, do you have another question?
No, I guess I just have a comment. Mike has said repeatedly he's not sure what the problems are, but you should. These department heads are your clients. I talk to them. I know what the problems are. And you should know that all along. You should know that people are upset because it's taken multiple months to get their computers up and operating.
Jim, I've talked to different department heads, and I talked to I'm not going to name. I've talked to different department heads, and I don't have that. So that's why I'm asking for that.
But I know that they have sent you the request. When you're going to get to my. Okay, that one's minor and it's been going on a long time. So my request is that if you want any committee, any other questions, if you want, that we can ask, and we will go with this. I don't know that another special meeting is going to help. Our next meeting is fairly early. We'll get the other going. Do you think a special meeting would help this?
Again, if you're gonna do a special meeting, if you're gonna do it in terms of specific personnel, then.
So I don't think so. What I would like is some people giving me from the committee the suggestions, and I'll put it in writing. What would at one point we had talked about it in a mutual agreement with Mike that these are the things that need to be upgraded, improved. I told Mike, and you keep saying that what we want you to do. If you're really a top-notch department head would be telling the company what they need. And that, you know, and I go back to, it wasn't even in your original budget request.
Okay,
So-
in fairness, I will go back and I will address every department head and I will ask and try to get that updated list. Because when I ask, is everything
I
okay?
think,
It comes back as being
okay,
sufficient.
well,
So if I don't know what those problems or issues are, if they're telling me no and they're telling you yes, there's a conflict and I don't know what they are. And again, when you say frustrations, is it frustrations in my department, my delegation, things like that? Or is it just the fact that they're not getting a new computer because I don't have the manpower to do it? So
alright. I will try to go through my notes again and send you more information. But I have any other comments that would please, if you give it to me, I'll go through Charlie and run it by you guys before it goes out any further. I think at this point, we're spinning our wheels.
It would be very wise to ask Mike to line up who will do what to do and how things will get delegated. Whether you have just himself and Zach or himself, Zach, in an entry level position. Get that down in an outline form.
Okay, works too. Okay, you know, whether it's a ticket system, whether it's a job thing, if it's just the in and out tracking some way, we need, I think for your own sanity, you need some tracking system. And while you're working on some of the easier projects or sitting in a Zoom meeting, maybe you could be coming up with what would work for that. Is that fair? And we'll get more.
yeah, Zach will be doing some meetings this week, so I have things to do, so.
Anything else that anybody has? Thank you very much. The time is.
Just FYI, Wendy's, she's still on, I don't know if you ever got.
Oh, did she ever click in? Wendy, would you have wanted something? I think she was just gonna go, she knew there was a long agenda, was just gonna go with what was in her report, so. So, Wendy, did you have something? She might be on the phone or something. No, okay. She had, she can give it at another meeting and it'll be in somebody else's minutes if she had something. So, is there anything else that anybody has? 11:38.
You need a motion to adjourn.
I move.
Aye.
Okay. Bill's glad he was out on the Thanks,
Did you say you were submitting something to finance? Or you haven't?
He said he did.
Oh, you were, I didn't have it on the agenda, that's why.
No, I did it in my meeting.